Hello you, HYROX London Olympia 2024. Let's get into it. Now, the concept of HYROX is very, very simple. You have 8 1-kilometer runs, and after each one, you work your way through a different functional fitness station with a total of 8 kilometers of running and 8 stations. Now, no matter where you do this in the world, this is always the same, so everybody does the same race regardless of when or where you are. However, the layout of the venues and the lengths of each of the runs will alter slightly based on the logistics of each of the individual locations, but on the whole, the total amount of work that you have to complete remains fairly consistent. For example, at the Olympia this weekend, the layout was quite unique in that the start line was halfway around the course and you had to complete 2.5 laps of the course for the first run before entering into the rock zone and completing the first station on the far left, which is the 1-kilometer ski erg, before exiting the rock zone, back onto the run course and starting the second run, which consisted of 2 and a bit laps of the course, before entering back into the in section and starting the second station. This is repeated until you complete all of the first 7 runs and 7 stations. Then the 8th and final run is only 1.5 laps until you reach the wall balls. And then once you finish those, you run over the finish line and rejoice in the fact that you are done and can finally go home. So it is fairly obvious in this case that the first run is quite a bit further than the last. I'm not entirely sure by how much, maybe at a guess 350 meters. I've absolutely no idea, I didn't measure it. But it's safe to say that the overall distance covered evens out to the full 8 kilometers. Now, is this complicated? I personally don't think so. I mean, I am an accountant, granted, not a very good one, but I can count up to 3, so I personally had no issues following the course. However, the HYROX social media has been full of people complaining that they went the wrong way, that they missed laps, they did too many laps, they'd skipped stations, so maybe I'm in the minority, but I thought the Federal Bureau of HYROX did quite a phenomenal job in accommodating the thousands of athletes and spectators that were there, at least on the day that I was competing. Anyway, enough logistics, let's get into the race. Here we go then, and we are off. Run 1 was 4 minutes 29 seconds. Not massively quick, but certainly not slow for me. I think I was trying to go at a fairly steady pace. And station 1, the ski erg, that is me about in the middle of the picture next to the gentleman in the pink vest. I'm in the green. As you can see, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 people ahead of me in my wave. So I certainly didn't rock it off at the start, which is definitely part of my strategy. Fast forward this because it is quite boring. The poor guy on the far right, he's already gone there. Yeah, I think he only did 2 laps. So he must have been skiing on his own for 2 minutes. So my time was 4 minutes, 4 seconds. And doing that, I think I've made a couple of places here. The main aim was just to go at a very steady pace. I think I'd pulled about a 154 was my average throughout, which is very steady. I didn't want to jack my heart rate up too much. Run 2 then, 4 minutes 12. That's pretty quick because I think this is actually bang on the nose of the 1 kilometer. But going into the sled pushes, I think I was going okay. I felt all right. I certainly didn't go into it fatigued, and I was ready to push these sleds, and they move quite easily. Now, the sled push itself, this is 4 lengths of 12.5 meters, 50 meters in total. And this is the stage where previously I have just ended my race so early on because I've been so knackered trying to push these things. But they have certainly done some course correction with the friction on the mats. I know so many people have moaned about how hard it is to move these things, how much friction there is on the carpet, and a year ago, I mean, I agree, I couldn't move it, and people whinging about that, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. But now, for whatever reason, the sleds moved so much easier, and I'm going quite slowly. My strategy is to quick bursts. The sled is moving quite easily, but I like to take a bit of a rest after half a length each time. So I'm pushing 6 meters, taking a 10-second rest, pushing the second 6 meters and doing that 4 times. Right, the guys leaving there, they are now way ahead of me. They're in my wave. There's another guy going out, and even guys to my left who I went in before, they're overtaking me. That's purely because I'm taking quite a lot of rest just to make sure I don't jack my heart rate up and I don't ruin the rest of the race. And I think that actually paid dividends later on in the race. as you'll see. But yeah, this is the last length here. So many people going past me, but I'm not caring because I'm not racing those, what, 30, 40 people in my wave. I'm racing a whole afternoon's worth of guys, and I'm not really racing them, I'm racing myself really. So last little bit here, the sled push total, 2 minutes 38, which I think is not very quick, but look at me there, I'm actually able to run out this time. That's the first time I've got off the sled and run through the rock zone and back onto the run course, and I'm feeling okay. Run number 3 then. Where's the little gazelle with his tiptoe running stride? There he is, run 3, 4 minutes 24. That is probably about the time that I was aiming to do for each of them. Of course, that didn't end up being the case, so the first ones are inevitably a lot quicker than the later ones. So after the push, we're onto the sled pull. I am in the background. This isn't great for spectators, this one, because they couldn't get to the side of it, but I'm kind of in the middle of the screen in the green there, next to the marshal in the blue t-shirt. On the marshals, I want to say they all did an absolutely phenomenal job throughout the day. They're all volunteers. They're so good. The standards they keep are so consistent across the board, and they're so encouraging, cheering you on, helping you out, and they are great. Now, coming into the sled pull, I think I made up a bit of ground on this. I don't know if it was the previous run, maybe I was slightly quicker than some of the other guys, but I've certainly gone up a few spots, and those guys to my right, I've already overtaken them after 2 lengths of rope pull. And that is definitely not because I'm good at pulling the sled. It is, I think, just because I had a little bit more in the tank because I took the pushes slightly easier. Yeah, fast forward this, that's me head on hands, and the last sled pull here. So yeah, definitely making up a bit of ground. 3 minutes 32, is that good? Don't know. But again, I'm still feeling okay, but this is hard, just to get these to move. You have to put in quite a lot of energy. But yeah, I'm back up and I'm running. I think I'm pacing it okay so far. So run number 4. So this round, and then we're at the halfway point, 4:37, so slightly slower, but again, still looking quite comfortable. I think I felt quite comfortable at this point going into the burpees. I certainly had enough to think that I could go quite fast in the burpees, but we'll get to that in a sec. That's where the race turned for me. Look at the outfit on that guy. He looks awesome. There's a little tiptoe gazelle. So yeah, everything's kind of going to plan at this point. Certainly nothing drastic so far, and yeah, probably the most comfortable I've been at this stage of the race and all the ones I've done. Burpees then, station 4, 80 meters worth. Now what I like to do here is I split each length up into 4 lots of 10 meters, and I'll do 5 slower burpees, like you can see here, with a slightly longer jump, and then I'll do 6 faster but shorter jump. So just mixes it up, breaks it up. It's good mentally for me to do it like that, and I think I made quite a lot of ground. Yeah, these 2 lads here on the left that are already on to the second length, they were way ahead of me on the sled push, but so I've made up a bit of ground, maybe on the run and certainly on the burpees, I'd say. So these are what I say. So these are 5 slower, slightly longer jumps, about 2 meters per jump. And the thing with the burpees is these are horrible. These catch so many people out. They go on forever. So my strategy is to just get through it as quickly as possible because I don't want to linger. There's no way of controlling your heart rate on these. It's either go or stop, and you just don't really want to stop. Yeah, and these are the slightly faster ones. Smaller jump, but I'm making ground by just moving a little bit quicker. She's not interested at all, that blonde lady. And then that's me right in the background. And I think I've certainly caught up, made quite a bit of ground, but at the expense of my heart rate is now 190 plus at this point. I think I'm having, yeah, just a little bit of a break there while I'm still on the course, because I don't want to be walking in the rock zone. So 2 minutes 50, which I think is pretty good. So now that is halfway through, onto the 5th run. Where am I? Yeah, I remember checking my watch and I think it was at 194 at this point. The run, it is definitely slowing down, but it still looks quite comfortable. If I'd gone any faster, I would have flatlined. I'd have red zone and flatlined straight away. Rowing then, 1 kilometer row. That's me coming in there, and I went into the first row on the left as I came in. which is a bit annoying. With the row, I'd say you want to run to the other end, so you have to do less running once you get off the row, but it doesn't matter, you go where you're told. And this, I mean, yeah, speed this up, this is boring to watch, but 1 kilometre row at this point, it dragged. And the thing is with rowing is, even though you're sitting down, it's nice for 2 seconds, and it's a bit of a different movement, but hips and everything start to seize up. And you've just got to get through it. This was really hurting. I wasn't pulling fast, I wasn't pulling hard at all, but it was hurting. Heart rate was staying over 190, which is not sustainable. It's an unsustainable heart rate for an unsustainable amount of time. But I still managed to get off and actually run. You can see me coming here. I actually ran as soon as I got off the rower. I did have a gel in my pocket. So the row time, 4 minutes 16. Now it must be noted, the actual times that you register for the stations, it's not what you see on the screen. It's what you have. It's going into the station, the row time, and then run out. Run number 6, 4 minutes 46, which again was slightly quicker than the last one, but I now know that the end is sort of in sight and I can't really slow down, so I've just got to put up with the high heart rate and just give it all I've got. Farmer's carry then. Yeah, I'm really struggling after the row. The row time, yeah, I think I did a 4:10 last time and I went for it, so a 4:16 is okay, but I think that's just because I got off the rower and ran instead of getting off flopping and walking out, which is normally what happens. Farmer's carry, yeah. I couldn't find any chalk, and instead of wasting my time looking for it, I just grabbed 2 kettlebells thinking that, oh, everyone else would have just covered them in chalk, they'll be easier to hold on to. But no, this kit, these were quite slippy, and because I was so sweaty at that point, I struggled holding on to them. I know I'm never going to drop the kettlebells. My grip strength is not a problem for me, not with 24 kilos. But yeah, it was quite slippy. Now I find the best technique for me is, I can't run fast with them, but if I walk like I tried to do here, I find that a lot harder. So I think the sort of just a little trot sort of thing was the best thing for me. So came in that 1 minute 32. And again, that's quite a nice station because you can go a bit slower, and if your heart rate's ever going to go down, it's going to be on this bit. But then you're straight back onto a run, and when you're running, there's no way of getting your heart rate down unless you stop. But I managed to push on, carried on. 2 more stations. There's my buddy Tom. He managed to beat me by 6 seconds, which annoyed me. He was in the wave in front, so it is hard to tell where everyone is in the whole race. But I'm still going. The end is in sight at this point. That farmer's carry, I should say, that's 200 meters of farmer's carry. So run 7, 4 minutes 50. So fairly, again, those last 3 have been fairly consistent between 4:45 and 4:50. Now on to the lunges. This was a real low point for me. These hurt so much. I have to speed these up because it looks like I'm going in slow motion here. Strategy for me is to do 1 step, feet together, take another step. If I don't do that, I'm going to lose my balance and the burn in my quads is going to be too much. But here, to be honest, I think I've mentally and physically checked out. It's just a case of holding on. That's all you can do at this point. I just want to say as well, they've updated the kit. It's now sponsored by Centerfit, which I believe is Chris Hemsworth's fitness company. So yeah, HYROX is now sponsored by Mighty Thor. Yeah, just going there. So this is 100 meters of these with a 20 kilo bag on your back, which if you do it fresh isn't heavy at all. However, when you're an hour in, this hurts. This really, really hurts. This third length went on forever. And as you can see here, there's a very kind cameraman who was right in front of where I was lunging, so I had to go around him. I mean, he got some great snaps, but I didn't even have the energy to make a fuss at that point. So last length, and all I'm telling myself is just get through it, same as the row, just don't stop. The end is in sight, because you know the last run is going to be, it's only a lap and a half, so it's going to be slightly easier. So lunges, 3 minutes 43. Don't know if that's good or not, check at the end. Last run, 3 minutes 41. Sounds fast, but remember it's a lot shorter than the other few, and I was really struggling to move after those lunges. Wall balls, at this point, I don't even remember the wall balls. My mind has eradicated any memory of this. It's like what my wife said about giving birth. You don't remember it because otherwise you'll never do it again. I think I did about 35 before I dropped it, which isn't a lot. Last time I got to 60, but this one, yeah, I was done by the time I hit the wall balls. It was a real struggle. It's 100 wall balls, 6 kilo ball, 9 foot target. I think I'm coming to the end now. But yeah, these were bad. 4 minutes 48, just had to keep on going. And then when I finally finished, look at the celebration I've got there. I've got rejoicing in the fact that I've championed this. Oh no, I'm not. I just collapsed and have given up. So doing that, I completely forgot to get a photo next to the thing and with my time on it. So what I've done, using my skills and the power of AI, I have reimagined what that would have looked like. There you go. That's me. Now the gentleman on the right with the fabulous mullet, that's the guy who did 1 lap less at the beginning. So I assume he got some crazy time penalty, or he's been banged up in some high security HYROX jail somewhere. But yeah, that's it, that's the end. 3-minute PB for me. So in summary then, I was quite happy with my performance. Strategy went about as well as it could have possibly have gone. I think it was a fair time considering my current fitness level, and I certainly left everything out there on the floor. I had nothing else to give, and I've certainly learned from mistakes I've made in previous races. So I guess it comes down to, did I enjoy it? It was a fantastic event, but no, I hated it. It hurt so much. I don't know why I keep doing these. I'm still in pain now. Yesterday morning, I went to pick my daughter up out of her bed, and I couldn't even get down to her through fear of bum cramp. She's 1, and I couldn't even pick her up. So no, I don't ever want to do one again. I certainly don't want to pay to do another one, and I definitely would never go abroad to do one because I can't get a spot anywhere else.